episode 165.
Are you ready to take your eBay business to the next level? Then hold on, because Ron and Ali are going to take you into the fast lane with the latest tips and insights from some of the biggest and most successful sellers here on the So You Wanna Sell on eBay podcast.
Welcome once again to another episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ron LeBeau.
And I'm Ali Young.
Hey, everyone. We have with us the fine Mark Levine. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great. Happy New Year, everybody. And it's good to hear from you guys again.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been a little while. You've been on our show before, but we always like to ask some of the special guests back.
Oh, the special ones. Yes.
So if you don't know Mark, I just want to, kind of go, Mark and Rob and his wife are the co-owners of Bubblefast. They are a shipping supply company, and they've been doing this stuff since 1999 when they actually sold one single roll of bubble cushioning wrap in 1999. So they've been around doing this for quite a few years and have a lot of expertise in a lot of different areas. So Mark, thanks for joining us. You doing okay today?
Yes, I am. Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here. And, like I said, Happy New Year. And let's have a great year together.
I want to know, I've got a question that everyone wants to know. Do you play with your bubbles?
You want us to mess with the inventory?
Because, they pop. They're so much fun to play with.
Right. They got videos.
If we sell candy, we're not going to eat all our profit.
Yeah, why not?
Fires people for playing with the bubbles, man. Yeah, that's awesome. So, well, really quick, and because you have been doing this for quite a while, you know a lot of different areas about a lot of different things. And as you probably know, a lot of our listeners are people that are maybe thinking about starting an eBay business, or maybe they've been doing it for a little while and struggling. So the hope here is that you can, shed some light on some, shortcuts or things that people can do to, kind of help save their time and money. And, as you know, the eBay community is just always giving, and you're definitely a part of that. So let's get into it a little bit and kind of see how we can help other people. Does that sound fair?
Oh, absolutely. So Robin and I, are with Bubblefast, which, as you mentioned, started by selling a single roll of bubble wrap on eBay in 1999, and we'll be celebrating 20 years in May. So been around a while and seen a few things. So if you're a new seller on eBay, it's not difficult to list an item and sell, but there's a lot of rules you have to be aware of, whether it has to do with shipping or packaging or how much to sell your item for or what you can and cannot sell. So my recommendation for starters is don't be shy. Everybody who's an e-commerce seller is on Facebook. So find yourself a Facebook group. You can do something. You can go on to Facebook and find eBay sellers, or if you niche in something like gold watches, put gold watches in there. Just find yourself a Facebook group that does e-commerce, and you don't even have to ask any questions. All you have to do is pay attention to some of the questions that other people are asking, and you can just read the answers. Nobody has to know that you're there. You'll find experts this way, where eventually you'll be able to ask good questions and get great answers because the answers are there. Everybody wants to help each other on eBay, believe it or not, because of the history of our community.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
You can get a lot of answers just by lurking in Facebook groups. And then by doing that, you'll find new sources for questions, new sources for goods, suggestions. You'd be surprised how quickly your business can grow just by joining networks online. And then maybe find yourself a local meetup group on meetup.com. Do the same thing. Go to meetup.com and put in eBay sellers, and you'll find some eBay groups most likely in your neighborhood. And this is a face-to-face, which is a different kind of networking. And it's better in many ways. If you're shy about being with people, then you just stick to being online. But don't be bashful about asking questions. And then eventually you'll become an expert in your niche. And then the time will come where people will ask you questions and you can pay it back by helping them out.
Nice. Absolutely. That is so awesome. You just summed up every one of our episodes in like that little 2-minute talk there, because basically what it boils down to is every eBay seller has been helped by somebody else. No doubt. I would not accept an answer from anybody else who said, I've done everything on my own. I've never asked for help. What you need to know if you're a new eBay seller is what Mark said. Basically everybody's needed help at some point. So, don't feel bad for reaching out, because you will get the opportunity, like Mark said. When you get to that point, you will be helping other people. And how cool is it, Mark? I know you've helped a lot of people, but how cool is it to meet somebody that's brand new, whether it's in your Chicago meetup group or in a Facebook group, and somebody comes to you and said, I'm brand new, and you help them. How cool is it to watch them grow and see them making some decent money on a monthly basis and maybe even quit their job?
It's we have to make a living. I get it. But what you just said kind of makes it all worthwhile. We're not just working for ourselves as entrepreneurs, but we're being part of the community and helping other people make a living. And it just feels really, really good. And then those people will then be able to help other people, and the community just continues to grow. And it just, as they say, what goes around comes around. So it's just a big cycle of everybody helping each other. eBay is competitive, but it's not necessarily cutthroat from the perspective of being in a community. And eBay sells, everybody sells such different unique items that just because I'm selling shipping supplies and you're selling pens doesn't mean that we can't help each other, because we're not competing for the same market share. So It's easier to help your fellow sellers because we're selling different things. And then if you help somebody, they may what? This guy over here helped me out and he was really good about it. Go talk to them and they can help you, or maybe I know what he sells and you need something. So it definitely comes back to you one way or the other.
The unique thing about you, though, is you're selling the thing that everybody needs. You're like the final guy. You're the guy. Everyone's selling everything, and then they come to you because they need what you have to do the next process.
Well, it's true in the old school way for us, older people back in the California gold rush days. We are what's called the picks and shovels of the industry. So you've got, if you're going to go to California and dig for gold, you need picks and shovels. So basically Bubblefast or anybody else who's selling supplies, everybody needs them. It doesn't mean we don't have competition, but we're part of the community more so than some of our other competitors. So people talk about us a lot, and so that helps us grow by giving into the community.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that I really think perspective needs to be put in place here, right? Because if you're a new eBay seller and you're selling ball caps, you may not want to share your ideas with somebody else that's selling ball caps, but the reality of it is there is enough room for a whole lot of people to sell ball caps and still make a lot of money, right? I mean, really perspective I think is important here.
Well, there's no question about that. If you sell ball caps and somebody else is selling it and they help you out, then maybe you get good enough at that you're going to now you're going to start selling T-shirts or jerseys or whatever it is. So somebody helps you get going, in one area, and it helps your business not just grow up but grow out. And so now you're selling something that your tutor doesn't sell, and you can go back and say, "Thank you for helping me with ball caps. This has led me, because my sources have now taught me how to get, T-shirts and jerseys. Let me share that with you as well." And we're not all going to sell the same ball cap just because we're selling ball caps. I may be niching with the Chicago Cubs, and somebody else is going to be niching with anybody in Australia that have ball caps. I don't know.
Cricket team.
Cricket teams, So, I mean, it's big enough and wide enough and diverse enough that even if you're selling the same category, you may not be selling the exact same product. And so you can still help each other out and feel good about it, and everybody's going to make some money.
We've experienced that multiple times by interviewing multiple people who sell similar products, and they're all very successful in their own way, and they all seem to intertwine, especially people who like collect cards or like some sort of collectible item. They seem to be swapping with each other, so there's no competitiveness. So let's get down to the boring stuff, which to some people is, but I know to you it's the love, it's the passion, but shipping. So here I am, I've got my products on eBay, I'm ready to start this shipping process. I'm pretty new to this. What's a good way to get started for shipping? You know, the free shipping, the paid shipping. What's some sort of tips on that sort of thing?
Well, you do have to do a little bit of research. The heavier the product, the bigger the product, and the further away you ship the product, not only is it going to cost you more in shipping, but you may have to pick a different service. Something lightweight and small, maybe priority mail. Something heavy or large, you may want to go with a ground service like FedEx or UPS. So you have to learn the differences there. The best way to do that if you're getting started brand new is take the product that you want to sell and know how you're going to pack it before you ship it. You may have an item that's 4 by 4 by 4 inches, but it's very delicate. By the time you bubble wrap it, it may be, 7 inches by 7 inches by 7 inches. So it's going to be a little bit heavier and a little bit bigger than the raw product without packaging. So once you can figure out how much it's going to weigh and what the dimensions are, then once you list it, you can use eBay's shipping calculator to give you options on the best ways and the least expensive ways and the fastest ways to ship your product. And this can give you then the opportunity to give those options to your to your buyer, so that they can pick out whichever option they want to pay for or get faster.
Yeah, and I think eBay's come a long way since 1999 in helping the seller. I mean, obviously there was a period of time, I think, when the sellers felt like, eBay had more the buyer's back than the seller's back. And I think that's kind of turning around. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you have to understand that there's 3 parties here. There's the buyer, there's the seller, and there's the facilitator, which is eBay. And eBay has to keep the other 2 sides in mind for every decision that they have to make. And they have to look at the big picture. Sometimes looking at the big picture doesn't sit well with an individual seller because there's a decision that's made for the vast majority that may not go well with you individually, but you have to look at the big picture and look at what's best overall for the marketplace. That's the way eBay thinks. And the more people talk to eBay and let them know how they feel about these items, the more changes eBay can make to try to make it as best as possible for as many buyers and sellers as possible. But if the buyers don't come to the platform, it doesn't matter what you sell or for how little you sell it if there's nobody there to buy it. So eBay has to keep in mind incentives to make sure there's a lot of competition in marketplaces, not just within eBay. So eBay has to do their best job to make sure the buyers come to eBay as opposed to other places. Once they have your attention and you're in eBay, then they can do whatever they can to provide the best tools possible for the sellers to attract those buyers and keep them there.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yep. So I just want to kind of go back. I mean, because when we get someone like you who have been selling since 1999, I want to kind of help the newbies, right? The people that are thinking about selling, or the people that have been selling for a short period of time. I want them to understand the pain that you guys literally had to go through, because back in 1999, nobody was carrying cell phones, right? Email was a thing, but that's pretty much how you manage things. All this technology that we're using right now was pretty infant stages. Talk to us a little bit about 1999 selling on eBay.
Oh my God!
So Facebook wasn't even around yet. Okay, consider that.
No, there was internet.
It was definitely more challenging than it is now, but it was also a lot of fun because doing this for 20 years, kind of feel like we've been pioneers. We got into the e-commerce game pretty early. You have to get your product. You have to take your own pictures, write your own descriptions, figure out what fonts to use, figure out how much you want to charge for shipping. PayPal wasn't a thing. There was a lot of communication back and forth available between the buyer and the seller. And once you sold the product, you sit on it and wait for the check to come in the mail before you even ship it. So again, the technology has come a long, long way. Now eBay has its own catalog, so you can use stock photos. They've got managed payments and/or PayPal, so you can get paid electronically. They have a monitored feedback system. They're doing reviews. They're doing all the things that are helping us be better sellers on e-commerce and make it easier for us, none of which existed way back in the day. E-commerce was hardly even a thing with the post office or FedEx or UPS. Robin used to have to load up the van and drive from Chicago to Milwaukee to find a 24-hour post office to make sure that she can get everything out on time. Nowadays, you go online, USPS.com, and you say, I want to get a pickup today. So for those that are brand new, we've laid the groundwork for you, so I hope you appreciate it.
Well, yeah, because, you mentioned taking pictures and stuff. And back in 1999, again, smartphones weren't around. You were taking pictures with cameras, those boxes that had film in them, right?
Well, actually, we were using it was still digital. I think I remember using a Canon SureShot, Canon 110 or something like that.
Oh my goodness!
So you take a picture, then you have to take the SD card out and plug it into your computer and download it and make the changes, and then you can. You had to place them within the description section of the listing. eBay didn't even have service for your pictures yet at that time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and everybody's pictures, there were shadows and there was all lopsided, and you didn't have all the tools available to make white backgrounds. So it wasn't as important to make pictures as good as they are today because it wasn't so easy to do so. So it wasn't as good of a buying experience, but that's all that was available at the time. Yeah. So technology taken us a long, long way in 20 years.
And we find a lot of people are doing that from their phones these days. I mean, it's just everything. We've had people, they take the picture, they actually edit on the thing, they list it from their phone. I mean, we come so far.
In the store,
and they haven't even bought it yet.
before you pay for it, right?
Yeah, yes. Insane. They're having a coffee in the coffee shop waiting for it to sell.
I went to a Cub game several years ago, and they gave out bobbleheads. One out of 1,000 bobbleheads was a gold bobblehead. And I was fortunate enough to actually get one of those. They're free giveaways. So we put the bobblehead down on the seat at Wrigley Field and took a picture of it on the phone, listed it during the game, and within an hour it sold. We're still at the game. We're still at the game.
How cool was that, man? Now, was Howard Cook? Yeah. That was awesome, man. So, I mean, you guys are like living it even when you're, entertaining yourselves. That's really cool. How cool is that?
Online business, e-commerce, it's 24/7. And there's not too many businesses I know of where you can go to bed at night and wake up in the morning and find out how much money you make.
Oh, yes.
Man, that is so sweet, man. Absolutely, man. So you guys, like I said, it does fascinate me to hear that, you guys didn't give up. In 1999, when things were rough, you guys trudged through. And, even though there are some complications today, they're different. And I think you would, agree that, they're better today, right?
No question about it. You have better customer service. Some people have concierges. More people are going to be getting them, more dedicated to helping you answer questions and digging into some of the details. And listing is a lot easier, much more user-friendly than it used to be. And again, eBay has its catalog right now. So, by the way, if you do create listings and you have a UPC code on your item, make sure that you put that UPC code into your listing. Make sure that you fill out the item specifics, because every UPC code, nobody's going to search for a UPC code. No buyer is going to search for a UPC code. However, when a buyer searches for something that has a UPC code and you put your PC code into the listing, then your listing has a much better chance of showing up in search than if you didn't use the UPC code at all.
Yeah.
But now, Mark, we do know that you are a numbers guy, and I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't search by UPC code 86548. That might be something I would catch you doing, man. That's awesome. That's really cool. So thanks for that, because you know what? That's a little bit of hidden advice that, again, we talk about networking, right? And somebody listening right now, probably a lot of people didn't know that, about the UPC code. So that's something that's really kind of helpful. And that's all about the networking, man. That's how, everybody grows their business by helping each other. And what a cool feeling. I know when I help somebody, it's kind of a cool feeling to watch them grow, right?
Oh, absolutely. We have friends of ours that we've helped out, and we sit there on our phones and we hit refresh all the time, and friendly competition. How'd you do today? And it kind of even spurs us on a little bit more to do better. Yeah. So yeah, it's fun. When you're running an eBay business, you're on your own. It's much more time consuming, much more stressful to some degree. You're spending a lot more time on it. But all of those things I just said, you own them. Those are yours. You are not working your ass off so that somebody else can make money off of your sweat. It's yours.
Right.
Definitely.
And that is the best feeling about owning your own e-commerce business.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the luxury and that's the entrepreneurism, and we can do that today. It's amazing. So where do you see yourself in the future here? I mean, what's your future goals here for 2019, 2020?
I haven't decided yet if it's Hawaii or Florida.
Oh my, that sounds rough.
Oh, nice.
Such a terrible life, hey?
No, we're. I mean, there's challenges all the time. So, we stay on top of things as best as we can, continuing to grow. There's new products out there, even new shipping products. So we're constantly reevaluating what our prices are to maintain a competitive edge as much as possible. We're continuing to learn to what our customers are asking for so that we can customize products that nobody else has. Many, many times we've customized products that other people have, eventually caught on to. So we just have to, keep that going and work on the next one. If a rule changes, let's be the first one to be on top of that rule and supply a product that's going to fit that rule and make everybody happy. And that, again, is something you can't do without staying in touch with the e-commerce community and listening to what your customers are asking for or what kind of USPS rules are changing that you have to modify your own products for. So staying in touch is probably the biggest asset you can have in keeping your business, let alone just growing it.
Awesome, Mendo. That is good stuff, man.
No, I'm just thinking here. No, I was just saying if you were going to ask a question. So the funny thing is I think it'll all be done by drones soon.
Yeah.
So you'll get your box and your drone will arrive in your garden. You'll have to keep up with this stuff here. You're going to have to keep on top of this.
I think we're, I know they're experimenting with that, and I think we're still pretty far away from that just yet. But even if that's the case, the drones aren't going to pick, pack, and ship your product.
No, you still need bubble wrap.
You still need bubble wrap.
Just in case it crashes. In fact, you need more of it. That's what it is.
That's right, because e-commerce is getting a bigger and bigger piece of the market share of retail business every year. And so now is just as good a time as any to get in. Don't quit your job, day one. Start selling as a hobby. Look under the bed, in the closet, in the garage, whatever. Find a few things, play with it. Sell things that are inexpensive. Be prepared to make mistakes and lose money. Learn from those and grow slowly. Our motto is to be the tortoise, not the hare. And that's going to help you with your longevity.
Slow and steady wins the race, man. We love it. Yeah, absolutely. That's correct. And it's so awesome, man. It's a lot of good information because, like you said, I mean, a lot of newbies are sitting there going, man, it's pretty overwhelming stuff if you think about it, right? But where else do you get that freedom? You need a laptop. You need internet service and a product, and you can sell from anywhere. We know a lot of people that are selling on the road. They'll get in an RV and they'll go to a Goodwill or something and source, and then go to not Hawaii, not in an RV they won't, but Florida, whatever. They'll travel the country. They just make a living doing that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that go to different eBay events or meetups across the country, and they'll be in their RV or their pickup truck or whatever, and they'll make it a business trip out of it by just making sure, they're going to scout or source along the way, and they can bring portable laptops and printers, and even along the way on the road, they're going to go to the UPS, store or FedEx or a post office. They can ship, while they're on the road. So again, you can have so much more flexibility by selling on e-commerce. Name your own hours, your own business. Pick out whatever it is you want to sell. Follow the rules, and you'll succeed. And just again, don't jump in. Don't think that I want to sell on eBay, but I've got to sell $1,000 a day to make it. You sell one item a week, one item a month. Start slow and learn. And where you want to be, that's the best way to get there.
Absolutely, man. And processes too, because that's the other thing we keep coming back to networking, right? Because if I always do something the wrong way and that's the only way I know to do it, then I'm never going to learn, right? But if you tell me, Mark, because of your experience, you tell me, hey, Ron, why don't you take the pictures of all 20 products at once and then sit down and list all the products at once instead of taking a picture of one and then going and listing that one and then boxing it. There's processes that people need to learn as well. And everybody develops their own system for sure. But talking to people like you that have been doing this for a while, I get great ideas. And I know our listeners are getting great ideas as well on how to do things. But let's talk a few minutes about how processes work for you on a daily basis.
We're probably a little bit different than most eBay sellers because we sell on eBay, we sell on other marketplaces, we sell on a website, we take emails, orders, phone orders, walk-in orders. So we have multiple platforms. So we have one database that somebody customized some apps for us that downloads the orders from all the different marketplaces into one central database. And then from there, we have each order. And Robin actually looks at each one, and she looks at for size and for weight and for distance. And we decide then what method and service to use for shipping each individual product to optimize our cost and shipping speed. And everything just prints off of our labels. We have a shipping staff, and we don't actually have a pick list because the item is being shipped as printed right on the label. So they just grab the label, go pick it, go pack it, slap it on the label. And then we have different carriers like FedEx and Speedy Delivery and the post office come throughout the day to come and do the daily pickups. And this doesn't develop overnight. It goes, you have to make a lot of adjustments as the services change. So as you said earlier, your processes, they're going to develop for you. The more business you do, you're going to learn how to become more efficient.
Yep.
The problem is there are so many / too many options, too many services that you go blind trying to look at all of them. So you pick out, again, with the networking, ask people what they use. And if it works for you, fine. If it doesn't, try to find another one. But be prepared to pivot quickly. Owning your own business, you can pivot quickly. But things change. Softwares change. Some get better. Some don't handle what you can do anymore. So keep a tight enough rein on knowing what your own business is. You can make these changes quickly. And when you create jobs for the position, not for the people that are doing them for you. So that if that changes, the job description of the position doesn't. So it makes transition much easier. And if you do have people that work for you, do the best you can to put the round peg in the round hole. Don't ask them to do something they're not capable of. Just try to put them in the best spot. But at the same time, try to cross-train your staff if you have staff, so that if somebody's not there, somebody else can take over.
You mean when you get staff? Because everybody hopefully is going to grow enough to where they need staff. So that's awesome.
Exactly.
That's
God knows we
good
do.
sage advice.
Exactly. And as an owner, there's one thing a lot of people as co-employees and co-workers, sometimes they realize, like, I'm not going to teach my co-worker what I do because then I'm not going to be indispensable anymore. And that's not a good attitude. And so what I'm about to say for employees works for owners as well. You cannot move up in the ranks unless somebody else can move into your spot. So you're way better off training somebody else how to do your job so that you can move up into a higher job with bigger responsibilities. And that goes for you being a coworker or even the owner of a business. We as eBay sellers are very, very, very passionate about what we do, to a fault sometimes, because we have a hard time giving it up. Well, you can't go out and source more. You can't go out and make changes. You can't go out and pivot to a new niche if you're sitting there doing the day-to-day grind that you can just as easily train somebody else to do. You're putting yourself in your own pigeonhole. So you don't somebody to do.
One of my favorite quotes is by Sir Richard Branson of Virgin Group, and his quote is, train people well enough so they can leave, treat them well enough so they don't want to. And that pretty much sums up what you just said.
Exactly.
Love it. Well, we've run out of time. I mean, sadly, we got all this information. We could do more and more and more, but we sadly run out of time here. Mark, this has been awesome. You've given some great tips. You got a great story. You got a great product that you get to play with at home, popping those bubbles, and it's just absolutely amazing. So thanks for spending the time with us. We've really, really enjoyed it. It's been really awesome. So we'd like to announce as well, we have this summit, this beautiful summit coming up. This will be launched on the 24th to the 26th of January. It's a 3-day event. You can go to soyouwannasellsummit.com. That will take you there. You'll be able to get more information about that. But this is only a 3-day event, so make sure you check it out. That's soyouwannasellsummit.com. Go over there, get lots more information about this fun new stuff that we're doing on the 24th to the 26th. Mark, what's the best way people can contact you should they want to?
Very easy. My email address is mark, M-A-R-K, @bubblefast.com. Or you can leave us a message on the Bubblefast Facebook page. And we'll be happy to spend as much time as anybody needs to ask questions, whether it's selling or shipping. It doesn't matter. We're happy to help.
Yeah, love it. So, yeah, go over there. We'll also put all of that information on the show notes page, which can be found at www.soyouwannasellonebay.com/show notes. Just look for Mark there. Thanks once again for joining us. We've had great fun from everyone here at So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ali Young.
And I'm Ron LeBeau.
That's all for this episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. Be sure to check out our next episode or any past episodes by going online to soyouwannasellonebay.com. Also, be sure to follow us on your favorite social media sites, facebook.com/So You Want to Sell on eBay, and Twitter @Your eBay Podcast. Thanks for listening. And until next time, happy selling.
Have an idea for a topic or know someone who would like to be on the show? Let us know. Just go to www.soyouwannasellonebay.com/interview. We look forward to hearing from you. This podcast was produced in part by Pro VoiceWorks.